Peace, everyone. Thank you all for showing up. It's Friday night. I'm sure that you all could be doing a lot of other shit right now. The Kings and Warriors are playing right now. The
Yeah.
Lakers about to play right now and close out the series, right? So I know that there's a lot of other things that you guys could be doing tonight. So glad you guys decided to pop up
Did you
here.
just say close
So
out the series? Like you gonna count my Kings out? What?
I just said they're playing.
Oh, you said something about closing out a series. Kings in
Oh,
seven.
no. The
Kings
Lakers
in
are going to
seven.
close out the
Oh,
series. The
okay,
Lakers are
okay,
going to
okay,
close it out.
okay. I'll
I
give
hope
you
the
that. I'll give
Warriors
you
and the
that.
Kings go 7 games because then that favors the
Right.
Kings because they'll play, huh?
No, that's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they only get like 36 hours rest
Right.
and they're back on the court.
Mm-hmm.
That favors the young guys, not the old guys like Steph and Dre.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so thank you all for being here. So this is Breyan Bliss. For folks that don't know, for people who are new, um, singer, songwriter, producer, all of that good stuff, heavily involved in all of it and good at sorting all those hats that he wears. I've been wearing them all as well. So we're going to structure this. We will have a rapid fire, which there are some make or break questions here. We might end this shit early if
Okay.
we don't get good responses on this rapid fire.
You got me sweating right now.
So we got 2 series of those, a couple questions, and then we'll close out with another rapid fire. All right.
I'm ready.
So I'm gonna give you the A rapid fire, and I mean obviously, it's rapid fire, right? But some of these may take you some time, man. So feel free
Okay.
and get some think time.
Okay.
Some are yes or no, and then some are this or that.
All right.
Um, do pineapples go on pizza?
Yes.
Okay. Vinyl or CDs?
Wow. Shit.
Or do you own any? Any vinyl?
I own, well, no, I don't. I own one vinyl and it's mine. So shout out to my lady. She got me one for Christmas, I believe. Yeah.
That's
But
dope.
I love the vinyl sound, but I gotta say CD just because, accessibility, that's just CD,
A lot cheaper too, man. Should
Exactly.
have CDs, especially right now, the used ones, man.
Mhm.
Should like I could pick up the classics for $1, man.
Right.
I think this is a fitting question. 100-degree weather or 30-degree weather?
Man, look, I'm an ex-athlete. I'll take 100-degree weather just because I like sweating. So I don't mind sweating. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's good for you. So why not? Why not? Just flush it out your system. I'll take the 100 degrees.
Same, man. I'll take the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Who do people tell you? And I'm interested in your answer, especially because you're down in LA now. Who is your celebrity lookalikes that other people have told you? Not that you think you look like, but that other people have been like, "Hey, are you so
So the few that I've heard, interestingly enough, is Miguel, which doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, what? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then Easy E, which does make sense to me because, the hair and the complexion, but like, yeah. So that's the 2 celebrity lookalikes that I get.
Question on the Miguel one. Were you kicking people in the face? I just gotta know. Was anyone kicked in the face?
Not quite.
No? Okay.
Rude, maybe I want to try it out one day, but I'm not at that level yet to have that excuse where I'm super big. No, I'm gonna get taken down, canceled. Need this momentum to keep going. So yeah.
All right, next one, and I think this is a make or break one.
Okay.
SZA or Ari Lennox?
I'm SZA. I'm taking SZA. I've been a big.
I gotta go. I'm gonna hand this live over to someone else because I gotta go.
Look. Ari Lennox has.
I just wish Ari would tour. Like it's the only thing. I feel like I didn't really become a SZA fan until I seen her perform. Like she was cool, right? But her shows was just so intricate and well thought out. I'm like, man, I kind of like this shit, man.
I haven't seen either live yet. I seen SZA on her championship tour, but I was walking in the venue as she was performing, and then as I got into my seats, she was done. So I didn't get a chance to really soak her up. But I relate to SZA's approach to music. I relate to the way she approaches her lyricism. You know, I fuck with the way she does her melodies. You know, so I feel like I just relate more to SZA than I do Ari, and Ari's an undeniable talent, so I'm not gonna take nothing away from her. You know, that's still one of my favorite songstresses. But yeah, I just, you know, see, I have a thing for TDE too. Like if you name any TDE artist, it's probably gonna favor them because I'm just a TDE junkie. But yeah, that's me.
All right, this next one. I think this is another make or break
Mhm.
one. Maxwell or D'Angelo?
Wow, wow.
I have my pick, so I'm gonna let you have
Damn,
yours.
damn. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say D'Angelo because, you know, off the top of my head, like the songs that I know really hit me from Maxwell is just primarily Pretty Wings. You know that, I mean, it was crazy. Pretty Wings, yo,
No,
pretty
that's
wings,
Maxwell.
yo. But that's what I'm saying, Maxwell. But I only have one. But there's a few like
Oh,
D'Angelo
oh, okay.
records
That's
that,
what
you
you.
know, just the weekends. You know, we cleaning up. You know, we just vibing. We vibing to the whole D'Angelo project. So, you know, I got to give
Ascension
it to
don't
that
hit
brother.
for you. Ascension,
Ascension for sure,
you
and
know.
that's why that's hard because, like, you know, you have
Yeah,
Ascension, you have, well, Maxwell's Maxwell. You know, you can't. He's
yeah.
also undeniable. But like, once again, it comes down to just relatability.
Mhm.
And I've heard D'Angelo in more moments in my life than I have heard Maxwell. So like I said, I favor that, and I favor him on that end. And also, like, I feel like I study him more than I study Maxwell
Mhm.
as well because, you know, he's the blueprint for a lot of artists today. So,
Yeah,
but you know what? Now that you say that, though, I'm gonna have to go ahead and dive back into, you know, Maxwell's older work. Um, 'Cause, yeah,
yeah, man.
man's has bangers. Man's has bangers.
Yeah, and he doesn't release albums every like 19 years. Just
Right.
heads up.
Right.
And then this last one. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Chris Webber or De'Aaron Fox?
See, I'm 25 and I'm not a basketball fan. So I'm gonna say De'Aaron Fox because I've watched De'Aaron Fox come up through the league. I watched him through college. You know, I understand Chris Webber was a force to be reckoned with on the Kings, but like, I wasn't there for that, and nor was I a basketball fan. So I'm gonna say De'Aaron
Mhm.
Fox just because I've literally watched bro, you know, make his way up, and that's why I'm a Kings fan today. Like, I wasn't a basketball fan really until you know, the Warriors started popping off, and I gained interest. But you know, that wasn't my city. But now my city's popping off, so now I'm like, okay, let me see where we're going. Let me watch a few games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this year, I'm kind of leaning into being more of a fan of basketball.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Jay Will on the Kings. Yeah, man. He was a highlight reel, but
Mm.
shot like 36%, man. But he had them dimes though, man.
Yeah.
He could make a. Yeah, man. He ran the pick and roll like no one else.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, they definitely went to the next level without him. So yeah, I don't know, man. All right, so that was our wrap around that ended.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay. You had me more nervous than I
that ran a
need
little
because, yeah,
longer than rapid, but I mean, that's all
yeah.
good. I mean, all of those were important make or break questions, and I was making notes.
Hmm.
Uh, so inefficient. Yeah, man. I'm like Jay Will. All right. So let's see. So just let's see. For the people who don't know you or the music quite yet, how would you describe your current sound or style, or maybe what you're gonna be diving into next creatively?
I would say that I am a student. I'm a student of good music, which means that you won't necessarily hear me adhere to a sound, especially what I consider this early on in my career. I have the liberty, especially as an independent and up and coming artist, to play with sounds and have people welcome that with open arms. Whereas, you know, down the line in my career, I'm for sure going to have to kind of stick with a more cohesive sound or a more cohesive direction. So right now, it's primarily R&B, but I play a lot. I flirt a lot with the rap spaces and the hip hop spaces. You know, I started off really as an MC in terms of songwriting, but you know, as I got more confident with my singing, I really transitioned into, you know, the R&B figure that people see me as today. And it's kind of weird because, you know, I rapped for so long and I still do rap now, but like whenever people see me, you know, out and about, just because I sing, they're like, oh, you know, you're an R&B artist. And that's kind of what the box they put me in. I don't mind being put in boxes for the sake of organization. But if I were to describe myself, then I wouldn't say I'm an R&B singer. I would just say I'm an artist who likes to create good songs. And so whether that be through the medium of rap, hip hop, or R&B, you know, those are the usual areas that I'm going to center myself around. I have a pop record out, an alt pop record out, you know. I like to play with different things and make different things sound well. I love the melodics. I love the, you know, the crooning, the R&B crooning. I want to bring back some of that, like begging in the rain, Usher shirt off, you know, like I want to bring some of that back, but at the same time, you know, I want to also just dive into the edginess that, you know, hip hop has, because that's where I started off as a songwriter. So yeah, like my sound, experimental. I mean, I'm going to say developed because I've been doing it for a minute. You know, experimental, developed, and mature. Yeah. Instead of developed, I'll say mature. Experimental, mature, and intimate for sure. Those are the three words that I would give.
Wait, so, uh, the, are are you saying developed?
I swapped that out for mature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So mature.
Boy, Yums in here was good, brother. Yeah. So mature, experimental was first. Experimental first, mature, and intimate. Yeah, because, you know, like I said, I don't want to box myself in on anything. People are always surprised when I hear, you know, like a Bay Area slapper beat, and I come in and I write 16 hot bars, and they're like, "Bro, you do this?" And I'm like, "Yes." Just look back at my catalog. Like, the proof is in the pudding. It's there, you know. But like I said, I have this R&B brand about me, and I love R&B. R&B is my first love, so, and I'll never fall out of love with that. So I'll accept that. But, you know, I kind of like the fact that I can just be versatile and surprise people still. And, you know, what my favorite artists, that's what they do. They surprise me when I hear their tracks. I never really know what to expect. You know, when Kendrick comes out with an album, I have no clue what it's going to sound like, and I want to replicate that with my music as well. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of how the transition from your first era, say the more hip hop heavy, and it kind of took you some time to develop some confidence doing the singing, right? So kind of what were you doing during that time that helped you get that confidence, maybe even to some degree just get better at it in general? Like, what did you have to do and, right, like, learn along that process? And I guess ultimately, like why did you make that type of, I don't want to say transition, but why did you add that to your arsenal?
Ultimately, the biggest lesson I had to learn was I can't give a fuck about what people say. The reason why I didn't sing for a very long time was because people were telling me I suck. They're like, "Bro, no, you suck, and your rapping is better." They responded better to the raps than they did with the you know, the R&B songs. So I always did what people responded to, but I never really, until I was about 16, did what I wanted to do. Because when I went home, I wasn't rapping. When I went home, I was singing in the shower. I was, and I know my family, because I was just, you know, belting and singing all over the place. And that, like I said, R&B was my first love. So I really just had to listen to myself and figure out what I wanted to work on and what I wanted to improve to make myself happy as an artist, and then study, you know, like I wasn't just going home just singing. Like, I would go home and, you know, listen to my favorite records and why do I like the things that I like, you know, understand and get beneath, you know, just the melodics of a song, and, you know, understand like lyricism, song structure, you know, things like that. And those are things I was unconsciously doing, you know, because I have a pseudo mentality with everything in my life. So, you know, I wanted to learn from, you know, people that are in the positions that I want to be in. But of course, I didn't have that firsthand access. So all I had were these pieces of media that are floating about. And that wasn't going to let me stop. I wasn't going to let that stop me from, you know, becoming better. So that's how I learned, which is listening to music, listening to my favorite music, and listening to music that I felt like was top tier, you know? So, you know, and I had to couple that, like I said, with not giving a fuck about what people said. Because after I made that transition, that's when I started going out and singing more. And then eventually that energy resonates with people. You know, that confidence, like you can be
Mhm.
ass. You know, I've heard so many stories with about people in these A&R meetings, you know, and you know, they play their song, they stand on the tables jumping up and down, and the song is mid, but like the energy that they're giving off is confidence.
Mhm.
So you're like, damn, maybe this song is fire. Maybe I gotta rethink it. That's just the energy you gotta have, especially in this oversaturated industry. There's so many artists nowadays. So you can't give yourself room for doubt. You know, if you doubt yourself, who's gonna believe you? You know, you have to be your biggest believer in
All of us
yourself.
aren't
Um,
gonna believe you, right? You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like
So
if
that's just the
you're,
energy.
mhm. Yeah, man. There's a good point. As far as like having that confidence. I mean, I wouldn't say to the degree, doing the Dame Dash and all that at the meetings, right?
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I mean, people know, people can tell when you're enjoying like what you're doing, right?
right.
And it's crazy because it's not even necessarily a checklist type of thing. Like, oh shit, like is Breon smiling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he dancing? Oh, is he doing? It's more so just like right, like how I guess ultimately how it feels as the consumer, right, as the fan, right? Because like, right, I can tell how people like I could tell people are like hella into certain songs or genres, and it looks completely different,
Yep.
right, than another song that they're hella into, right? But I think ultimately people they feel that shit, right?
That's it.
Like we know when it's like yeah, man, he's kind of just singing this because we like the last shit that
Exactly.
sounded kind of like this,
Mm-hmm.
versus like, oh shit, this kind of new, man,
Right.
but he likes it, right? Or he's really into it, right? Or he's very mindful of kind of like how we're like acting or responding, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
I like that you were able to take that step, but as you said, study the people along the way.
Right.
I think that's kind of where some people can't make the transition is they just jump right into it like oh yeah I could do this so I could do this, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you got to be able to kind of study who's already there to make sure like when it's like being in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a bad example because you were just in traffic,
For
but if
real.
you're switching lanes you scope it out first, right?
Right.
You don't just say all right I feel like going into this
Right.
lane.
Right.
You got to make
Right.
sure
Right.
all right, is anyone coming, is it clear, am I
Mm-hmm.
going to get hit if I jump in? All
Exactly.
right, now I'm going to go.
Right.
So you checked your blind spots, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you studied all of the
Right.
shit going on around you, man, before you you know, again, don't want to say transition, but put that a little more forward. So I guess so the last album or the last EP, not the full album, the last EP, the Midnight Fervor, that was more so the R&B bag.
Yeah.
So with your, I guess, with your next project, do you think you're gonna stay in that realm? Do you think you're gonna go more the hip hop, or are you thinking you're just gonna mesh them up a little bit more, more on this next round?
I got a few of them plotted out. Before I even get into that, shout out to Miz. Yes, I do feel like a superstar with these shades on. That's a part of it, you know, like look sexy, feel sexy, exude sexy. You know what I'm saying? Um, in terms of the sounds, I thought as of like a week ago that I was gonna do this R&B project, and I'm super excited about the project because it's some of my favorite songs I've written in the past like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. You know, I got some features on there that I'm really excited about, but I recently realized that I'm probably gonna have to switch gears and just let that marinate a little bit longer. So this next project is looking like a hip hop project or a hip hop leaning project because
Yeah.
you know I'm melodic, bro.
Yeah.
Like I love melodies and whatnot, and if it doesn't have a melody, I'm not trying to be on it. That's just me. So yeah, hip hop adjacent, definitely. But the project after that, like we diving right back into the R&B. So I definitely want to be able to show them, like I said, my versatility and my fluency in both worlds. So I feel like this next project, especially after Midnight Fervor, being hip hop adjacent is a good just a good dichotomy to have within my catalog. And yeah, I just got a lot of music in the cut right now. I got a lot in the vault. I got a lot that I'm working on. So I just got to figure out how to package that up. You know.
All right. So we got a question from Drew coming through right
Hey,
now.
Drew. Hi, Jason.
Uh, Peace, Drew. Who are some of your favorite melodic rappers? Who's considered a melodic rapper? I mean,
Everybody.
like
Everybody's considered
it's
a
like
rapper.
is like is Smino?
For sure.
He right?
For sure.
Okay. I'm like I don't think I understand a lot of these terms, but
No, it's
hey man, Smino counts. Probably be one of
it's
mine.
just the way that hi Lena, it's just the way that music has moved nowadays. Like you have to be able to do both in order to really flow. I mean, or be really strong in one area. But I just feel like a lot of the people that are coming up are just influenced by like the bigger artists like Drake, like
Yeah.
J. Cole, or all of the biggest artists are taking different things from different areas and making music a lot less just homogeneous. Like it's a blend of everything
Yeah.
now, and the more time that we give it, the more blending that we have within the mainstream music sphere. So yeah, but like Smino for sure is one of my favorite artists in general. But like, yeah, he's for sure a melodic rapper. I would even go as
Mhm.
far as to say like Isaiah Rashad, even though he's not like singing on stuff, he would be considered to me a
Mhm.
melodic rapper because of the way his delivery is. It's a very like flowy, kind of bouncy, it almost has a melody to it, but not really, you know.
Mhm.
But there are things that I pull from him when it comes to that because melody is more than just like actual like keys and shit. Like it's about
Mhm.
like bounce and rhythm, and making people move a certain way. So yeah, like you got to understand pockets, and you got to understand not only pockets but like shapes of songs and keys and whatnot. Like it's there's a whole science to it, But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say for sure one of my favorite melodic rappers is I'll say that. I love Keem, Baby Keem. Man, one of the first ever melodic rappers, T Pain. Shout out to the Godfather.
Hey,
Uh,
for real.
you know,
For real.
like just I mean, and everyone does it now. So I love. Uh, I fuck with Gunna. I fuck with Baby. Of course, I fuck with Thug. Like, but like just everyone. Like I said, everyone's kind of soaking up some of the melodic stuff. You have to do it nowadays. So
Yeah. All right. So Mizzy got a question,
mhm.
real quick. Do you get afraid of feeling like you're abandoning the base you built through the last project and your brand by leaning more into hip hop onto this next one?
Nah, not at all actually, because I'm starting to understand what a brand is. I am the brand at the
That's
end of the day. Like it's not my sound. It's people fuck with me. And they fuck with my creativity as an artist. So yeah,
true.
if they know me and they've heard my catalog, they understand that I have a variety of sounds to provide. So they're
Mhm.
not gonna abandon me just because this isn't sounding exactly like Midnight Fervor. As long as the music is good, that's all people
Yeah.
care about. Like if the music is good, they'll stick around. And I feel like if I stick to a sound, I'm going to limit myself and my brand as an artist. I don't want to just stick to one thing because that's going to limit my opportunity in the future for songwriting. That's going to limit just literally my sonics in general. And I don't want to stick
Mhm.
with one thing. I want to do what makes me happy as an artist. And you have
Mhm.
examples of people that are genre benders, like the Tyler the Creators, like the Doja Cats.
Mhm.
We have too many examples of people who do well in both worlds, and it kind of goes against the common model right now, or just in the past of how an artist succeeds because beforehand like you made one sound and you stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like all the Motown records back in the day, they sounded like Motown records, and Gamble and Huff on the East Coast for
Mhm.
in that rivalry, they all sounded like the Philadelphia
Yeah.
sound.
Definitely
But like
so.
now we have too much access to a whole bunch of
Mhm.
different things to be inspired by, so the canvas is just way bigger.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
I will just have more of an impact if I'm allowed to tell my story any way I see fit versus let me just do this R&B because what if I don't want to sing? What if I want to really rip a nigga? Like that's just what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it that day,
Yeah.
So not at all, not at all. If the music is good, they'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. And I mean, I think especially now, and you kind of, got at this point, but the genres are blending so much more easily now, right? So like back in the day when they would, hip hop and R&B would be in one chart. I mean, how are you going to tell me Wu-Tang Clan sounds like, Stephanie Mills?
Right.
They don't sound anything alike. But now, over time, I mean, they two sound pretty similar, right? And I think at this point, you kind of have to be able to have different pockets. And I think fans' pellets have expanded to the point where it's like, man, I don't want to hear, you know, nothing was the same part two. I
Mm-hmm.
want to hear what other shit you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like if you're not reinventing yourself on every album, like Tyler the Creator, like Janet Jackson has done for the last 50 years,
Exactly.
we may listen to you in the moment, but people aren't going to listen to you in 10 years.
Right.
You're not getting put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
You're not getting Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Grammys or the Soul Train or BT. Like, we'll like you for the moment, right? You know, if you're dope. But I think by not putting yourself in the box, even though, yeah, the fan, you know, it can alienate some fans, I think it ultimately makes the core fans more dedicated.
Right.
Because it's kind of like, oh shit, like what's this next album gonna be like?
Exactly.
The
And
last
it's
three
not
are
as
all
if I can't give
different.
them more.
You
Like, that's the thing about me, especially as a songwriter. Like, I'm never going to stop writing music and new music. The goal for me is I think a lot about my performances. You know, I think a lot about a show for me, because that's how I'm going to be making my money as an artist, touring. Like, that's the biggest bag that you can possibly get. So if I want to
Yeah.
turn up and I don't have any turn up songs, I don't want to have to bring a guest. I don't want to have to, play other people's music. I want to be able to curate that vibe for myself. So I want to be able to put different energies within my catalog. And at the end of the day, and this is just, a tip for any artist that's watching right now, your goal isn't necessarily to blow up, right? Because you have to understand how you're going to get your money. You're going to get your money, like I said, through touring. The goal is to build up your catalog, have 20 undeniable songs, that you can tour the world on. And that is all you need, like you can have your niche sound, but if you don't have something worldwide and international that you can like make your money around the world on, then you're not going to leave wherever you're from. So like that's all I'm really concerned about is what am I going to be able to do to make, I'm gonna make hundreds of songs, but like what are the 20 that's going to take me around the world? And so I'm gonna keep on smacking that iron and keep on trying different sounds until I get my 20 that hit, and we're gonna ride out. So it's really that simple.
Yeah, shit. Well, I mean, I think you already got, a few in
Definitely.
the, well, a few that we've heard or
Mm-hmm.
that the public has heard.
Yeah.
Flawless, of course is a great one, but when it's dark out, you know, that's your song, but I mean, I sing it better, but I'll let you have it, man.
I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not.
But yeah, but yeah, man, it's a great point, man, about just the overall like, and I mean, that's your goals, right? As far as getting that catalog that can allow you to tour indefinitely, right? I mean,
Right.
shit, George Clinton right now, he's on like his 12th final tour. He's
That's what
83 years old.
I'm saying. But
Like,
he has that same
like,
20. He doesn't need to write new
yeah,
music.
yeah,
Janet Jackson, like the
hmm
OJs, like everybody from the
yeah,
70s, the people that are still alive and still touring, they're doing that. And that's how they're making their
yep,
money. Usher, like they go and they sing it. How many times has Usher sung Yeah? Like this man has done this song. I know he's sick of the song, but like that's all he needs
hmm
to make his living.
yep,
So,
yeah,
long term longevity, that's what you should be focused on is build up your catalog and figure out how to get that shit around the world. And, you'll be good.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, like, I mean, if I were an artist, right, I think like that would be my long-term goal. I mean, like, I feel like, yeah, to have like that one, like undeniable, like that mega hit, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like uh, Sheck West or whatever. Like, that's
Yep, my
dope,
mama.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But, uh, shit, I'd rather have like T.I.'s catalog, right? Because
Exactly.
I mean, T.I., he can go on an international tour right now and
Mm-hmm.
throw out a deluxe version of his three best albums, and we would eat it up. Sheck
Right.
West, I mean, he could probably do the halftime show right now for the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's it's different goals, but I'm glad, right, that yours is the long term, and you already know this is what makes you the most money, writing
Right.
songs, owning those rights and, touring the world, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't even know that, man. Like a
Right.
lot of people, they're just, they don't understand how that works,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then they end up chasing the wrong targets, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're shooting at the opponent's basket.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're almost helping the next person, and they're not really doing shit for themselves, man. So that's good that you gotta, you know what I mean? Have a
Right.
firm grip on what's gonna bring you the most joy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's important. But with joy comes a lot of money too, man. So,
Dude, my money,
you know,
my
glad you
problems.
got that,
You know.
tied down. So this was actually going to be a rapid fire question, but I'll throw it in now because I think it's fitting.
Okay.
I got a script, but I got a feeling too. So what have been like some of your favorite performances that you've done, and kind of what do you think like made those kind of your standout, either venues, or just the overall energy of the people that you were performing with?
Man, I think I am a sucker for a smaller, intimate venue, because I love crowd work. I love bringing people into my world. So, man, I did a show at the Brick House Gallery
Oh
last
yeah.
year, and I think the crowd there surprisingly was it was just it was I felt like it was a musician's crowd. It was a lot of like other artists and whatnot. People that
Mhm.
are just willing to sit and soak up and listen to music versus people who are coming just to kind of have a day, just go out on a Saturday.
Mhm.
I like connecting with my audience, and because I'm so observant and I'm so attentive while I'm on stage, and I want to make sure my audience has a good time. Like I know, like when I look out on the stage and I see the three people in the back on their phone, like I'm trying to figure out a way to engage those three in the back. Like
Yeah.
I might have to jump in the front, but like I want to bring everybody in, which is why I do things like come off the stage, and circle around and whatnot. But the Brick House Gallery was dope. Um, Man, the Brick House Gallery and the Groundswell actually, and the Groundswell, which is right across from it. Both of those were just really intimate shows, and it was probably like 20, 30 people. Um,
Mhm.
but like I said, I had an opportunity to kind of like connect with everybody, like look them in the eye,
Mhm.
and yeah, just bring them into my world. So, and that's the favorite for me. I've been on like big stages, but I can't see people like that, so it's
Mhm.
more of a performance aspect than
Mhm.
anything. And I'm kind of like, it's well, not performance, it's more of a choreo thing for me. Like, if I can't like see you and see how you react,
Mhm.
I'm not having nearly as good as a time where, I can
Mhm.
sing a lyric, look you in your face and see if that resonated or not. So I just like
Mhm.
responding. I like responding to a crowd. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so you see your performances more as of an opportunity to connect with your
Yeah.
audience, and to build on that, as opposed to like, like there's 100 people here, so that's good, right? So for you, it's 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 a bigger win if you got 20 people and they're all just enjoying their time.
Definitely.
They're trying to figure out from you after the show, like,
Mm-hmm.
is this the right socials, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like it's about the connection and deepening that bond with your existing or your new
Mm-hmm.
fan. So I think that's dope, man. And I think really it's crazy because I think coming out of the pandemic, a lot of big artists are doing small venues again.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the goal.
Because
That's
they
the goal
can't
of it. So.
do, yeah. So like they can't do Golden
Mm-hmm.
One, or Staples or Crypto, right? So they're doing Harlow's, they're doing Ace of Spades, and um, yeah. To me, I think yeah, the best shows I've been to isn't when we just all just sing along to their songs,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Like it's like when the artists, bring us into the show somehow, right? Or they restart the song if they're like, I'm not feeling you guys
Right.
yet. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I've gone to a couple shows in which they did that. And I mean, honestly, as a fan, I think it's pretty dope,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean, like if you're going to spend 20, $30 on a ticket and you don't even know their biggest hit,
Right,
like what are you doing?
right, right.
And especially, what are you doing standing in the front row? Like if you don't know their biggest song,
Yeah,
just stand in the back, man.
right, right. Give the other people an
Like stand at the
opportunity.
bar. You know what I mean?
But I feel like that's
Um,
something that artists not necessarily forget, but lose sight of sometimes, because the goal when you're performing isn't to perform in front of as many people as possible. The goal is to convert fans. Literally, that's the only thing that you're on the stage for, is to convert your listeners, or however many listeners, into fans.
mhm,
So my success rate with that is a lot higher in an intimate setting, because like if I take a mic and I come down off a stage and I'm singing you the lyrics in your face, you're gonna remember me, you know. Whether
Yeah.
you might not have ever had that experience in your life. So I want to create unique experiences, you know, and just experiences that people can resonate with, you know, especially with my music and my content. A lot of my music is experience based. So if you're resonating with, you know, my lived experience, you know, while I'm performing, it makes it that much more powerful. So now you're gonna look me up after the show, you know. So yeah, that's really it. Like, convert a fan, and don't worry about how many people you're in front of, because eventually word of mouth is the most powerful marketing tool in the world. You know, that person, after you put a good show on, whether it be those 3 people in the crowd, those 3 people are gonna tell somebody, you know, and it just snowballs from there. So yeah.
So yeah, kind of on the flip side of that, was maybe an experience performing, right? Um, that you wish I maybe had gone a little bit. I'm a little different, right?
There's something from every single show I've ever done that I wish could have went better,
Yeah, I
and that is just
asked the wrong
music.
person this question, man.
No,
That's the wrong.
exactly.
No.
But look, it is built me into the performer I am today, because you always expect something to go wrong, right? Be prepared for it to go wrong and have a backup plan.
Yeah,
And don't let it affect your energy, because you're gonna come up to these venues. They're not gonna be able to do a sound check because the sound check person is late. Your guys are late. Whoever the case may be, something's gonna happen, you know, or you're gonna be on stage and the cable's gonna fall out, or something's going to
yeah,
happen, you know. And you, as a professional, have to figure out how not to fuck up the feng shui while that happens. That's the mark of a professional to me, you know? So yeah, but if you want me to get specific though, man, I mean, I don't want to put nobody on blast, but, you know,
a place.
I'll say, I'll say,
Yeah,
you know, when
yeah,
people, you want to be as prepared as possible, and the people that are with you, you want them to be prepared as possible. So
mhm,
my least favorite shows are when the people I'm performing with, when we haven't had an opportunity to just be prepared, you know. You know, I've done shows where I pulled up with musicians and they're professionals, so they know what they're doing, but you know, we don't get any rehearsals or anything like that. And you know, because I know what I'm doing, I'm able to kind of save it, you know, as I go, and kind of salvage, you know, what we can have, but that's never the most impactful I can possibly be. And I don't want to waste anybody's
mhm.
time when I'm on stage. Like I want to be able to convey the message. So yeah, just preparation, be prepared, you know, prepare for your shows super early, because something is going to go wrong every time you're on stage. Like, I mean, and even on my end, not just on other people's end. You know, I've done shows where I forget whole verses, you know, and I'm like, bro, what the hell, you know? And I've been practicing, and it happens, you know. So what do? Do you let your fans and the audience see that you fucked up, or do you figure out a way to make it flow? You know, you can freestyle something over, you can restart a song. You could. There's just a whole myriad of options that you have, but you, at the end of the day, you need to make the experience as flawless and smooth as possible for your audience in order for them to really give a fuck about coming back, you know? So, yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
That's great advice, man. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to pivot, right? You know, because a lot of these people, uh, it'll be the first time even seeing you, right? And
right,
so
right.
if the first time they seen you, you're fucking freaking out because you forgot the hook,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, oh, it's a guy who freaked out on stage because
Yep.
he forgot his shit,
You
right?
do not want to be remembered.
But I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, and I mean, like, I think, yeah, just kind of putting that in perspective, man, that something's gonna go wrong, and then secondly, I know you didn't necessarily say this, but I think this is maybe something that you like uh, hinted at. It's kind of like as fans, sometimes or a lot of the time, we don't even know that that went wrong.
Right.
Like we don't know that your DJ showed up 20 minutes before the show. He's supposed to be there an
Exactly.
hour. We have no idea. I'm not the DJ,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm not you, right? So I think that's really good advice. I would say for the artists in the room, because me not being a performer, but me still having work of my own.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do that sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm just gonna be mad the rest of the day. No one knows why, but I'm just gonna be
Right.
mad. And I'm like,
Right.
no one knows why I'm mad. So they just think I'm an asshole. Yeah,
Right.
let's not do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Um, but yeah,
Hi,
peace
KC.
everyone. Yeah, I was just about to ask you how to say their name. I'm like, man, I don't like.
It's 1500 family. Woo-woo.
No, no. All right. That's actually a really good segue. So 1500 Sound Academy.
Yes, sir.
So for people that don't know, it's one of the most, or probably the most, I'm sure a student will tell us. It's just a, intense boot camp for people who are just serious about being in the industry, building those connections, and really want to, you know, they really want to learn and apply very quickly. So to kind of take us back a few steps, I know that you told me, or that you've shared with a lot of us, right, that you had given yourself a certain period, right, to have this music shit work out, right, and it did in the form of this academy.
Right.
So the question here, well, one, tell us more about kind of what you're doing, like what you've done so far with the Sound Academy. I think it might be kind of cool to mention some of the people you met, like you met Rhapsody, you met I don't know if it was Gamble or Huff
Yeah,
this
Kenny.
afternoon.
Kenny this afternoon.
But yeah, so tell us more about that program, because it's, it
Man,
looks like a lot of fun, but rewarding.
definitely. So, I mean, it's my dream school. James Fauntleroy is the founder. James Fauntleroy and Lawrence Dobson. Lawrence, they decided they were going to have this crazy idea and just teach people, one, the skills to navigate the industry, and then two, different ways to strengthen your craft. And so James has described it as like the X-Men school for musicians. And it really is just a blessing to be there, because they are not only teaching you, fundamental things like songwriting, production, mixing, mastering, artist branding, and things like of that nature. But they're connecting you with people in the industry, because they are James and Rance are juggernauts in the industry. Like, we have the opportunity to shake hands and touch and bump shoulders with literally the top 0.1% earners and achievers in the industry on a day-to-day basis. So, that is a huge motivating factor to me, because the people that I see on TV, they come in and talk to us, you know? So, I mean, like I said, it's a blessing to be there. I think my first week, man, who do we did? And somebody comes in every single day, so I'll be forgetting folk. But I loved seeing Rhapsody. Rhapsody came down and gave us some games. She signed my laptop. Mike and Keys came. I didn't know Keys was from Sacramento, so that was super dope to find out. Joel James came down.
Like
Cadence,
Sacramento, or
yeah, he was
like
born.
Roseville or something?
Keys was born in South Sac, and he
Oh,
lived in North Sac for a minute. So
oh
shit is
shit.
wild.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Sacramento proper. Okay. I
Exactly.
like
Sacramento,
that.
yeah, for sure. Sacramento proper. So we bonded over that. But like, and Rance brings in just dogs. Like I said, there's somebody every day. Cruz came, Meek Mill's engineer. He came and talked to us. Man, who's the CEO of Jaden? I forget his last name, but the CEO for Fear of God. He was the most inspiring speaker we had for sure. That man's an alien.
It's called
But
Fear
it's
of God.
more Fear of God, yeah. So he
Is it
was
like a church or something? I'm not trying to be
it's a
funny.
brand. No, yeah, it's a
Okay.
brand basically. He's like the head designer for the athletic department at Nike right now. Or he's doing some crazy shit. He's always doing some
Oh
crazy
shit.
shit, but like he came in.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so we have, like I said, these earners come in and sit us down and talk to us one on one, and just give us a gem. So yesterday we had Kenneth Gamble. He was over Zoom, and if you guys, like I said, I mentioned Motown earlier. So back in the day in the '70s, let me give you a little history lesson here. In the '70s, there were two juggernauts, right? It was Motown and it was Gamble and Huff. And the Gamble and Huff created the Philadelphia International Sound. So if you scrub, if the hits weren't coming out of Motown, they were coming out of Philadelphia, because Gamble and Huff were writing these songs. So Patti LaBelle, like Teddy Pendergrass, Billy Paul, McFadden and Whitehead,
And the OJs,
like
man.
just the OJs,
They
like
laced the
those.
OJs,
Yeah, they
man.
did.
Like,
They did. The Intruders, like everybody. So
mm,
they are for sure. Campbell and Gamble and Huff are like the most prolific and sampled songwriters in all of history. So we got to talk to him
yeah.
yesterday, but it's just a place where I can like touch and see and talk to the people that are in places that I want to be in. So yeah, at that point, like it becomes no excuse as to what you want to do in the industry. You just got to figure out a way make it happen. And it's different from other schools, and this is kind of why I don't like music schools in general. But you know, it's hard to validate a music school for me sometimes, because say for example you go to, I don't know, Stanford or something like that, and you pay all this money for an engineering degree. You know, there's no guarantee when you're hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt when you come out that you're going to have a job like any of these standard other industries. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
what's more than likely going to happen is for the first 2 to 3 years, because this is on like this is average, first 2 to 3 years are working for free anyway. You know, so you have that debt, you're working for free, and you know if you
Yeah.
land a placement, if you land, you know, if you engineer for Meek Mill, let's just say, that doesn't always guarantee you money because like there's just steps that you have to do to prove yourself. So in that regard, it's not necessarily a good investment on that end. But this is a different school because not only are they teaching you the skills and bringing them to people that know what the fuck they're doing, that have won the Grammys, you know, that have, you know, made the money, but they're connecting you with people, you know. So it's a family. It's a family, and you know, I'm blessed to be there.
Yeah. So the guest speakers or the yeah the oh, shit. The speakers, I mean, all that stuff is dope, and I mean, it's the draw, right? I would say for the program, but as far as like the day to day, right? When Gamble and Huff isn't on the big screen, right? And I want to say Terrace Martin visited
He did.
as well. Like, what does the day to day look like for you moving from from Sacramento up here in Sac, and then going down in LA? Like, what else kind of goes into like chasing that, chasing that, like, I mean, literally like a Hollywood dream, man. Like,
Right, right.
what's the everything else that doesn't make the IG, man?
I mean, it's a lot of grunt work at the end of the day. You know, we do a lot of shit for free in
Mhm.
the industry. And so that's what I end up doing because the industry isn't necessarily about talent. You know, we're in LA, we're in the most saturated place
Yep.
within the most saturated environment, or not
Yep.
environment, industry. Because, you know, there's
Mhm.
a million songs get uploaded to Spotify every day, statistically speaking. So, you know, it's not necessarily about being good, it's relationships. Like, how are you going to get in these doors? And then not only do you get when you get in, because that's something that they teach at the 1500, how do you get invited back, you know?
Mhm.
Because you have to be able to not only be a talented individual but just be a likable person, not be a douchebag and not have an ego on your shoulder like everyone else does. And that's the hard thing about this industry in particular, because the music industry and any really entertainment industry, just because of how glorious it is, it attracts the most ego driven individuals, because you know it's this the highest of highs you can possibly reach. Oh, to be a famous actor, be a famous
Mhm.
star. So sometimes you can
Yeah.
get lost in that, you know, but you have to really find the things and the people that ground you, and in order to float and stay and stick around, because the average lifespan for a musician or anybody within this industry is about 2 to 3 years. So like, how are you going to outlast that? And
Mhm.
it's like I said, at the end of the day, it's just relationships. So that is a big thing for me in terms of the day to day is networking, you know, figuring
Yeah.
out, you know, providing help and providing value to artists and musicians that I fuck with. And then, like I said, and also like be showing up for myself. And that comes, shows up in a few different ways, you know. I'm
Yeah.
not always going to feel like making music, you know. Um,
Mhm.
because I don't forget, like, this is the music, it's called the music business for a reason. Like, it is a business. So I need to be able to, whether I feel shitty in the morning, I need to be able to sit down and write a song, you know? So if I'm mad as hell and I need to write a pop song for Capri, shout out to Capri, you know, I got to get in that mood. Like, they don't give a fuck about how I feel. They want me to deliver. So in that aspect, you know, I have to be able to um, have that business mentality, but not lose the love that I have for the music, because the love is what drives me, but the consistency in my discipline is what's going to keep me there, you know? So yeah, I mean, a lot of my day to day is like literally, you know, a lot of searching, a lot of web searching, you know, for different things, applying to different things, you know, showing up in these Twitter and IG spaces, and, you know, just proving my talent and proving my worth, not asking for anything in return either, because at the end of the day, you know, the person that's going to help you in the long run is going to believe in you, for your talent, you know? So you just have to literally show up in these spaces, you know, provide your gift, your God-given gift, and then whoever responds to that, they'll respond, you know? So like I said, and there's no like pathway for it. So I end up assisting a lot of my friends. You know, I songwrite for my friends. You know, I just figure out the outlets and communities and hubs that are looking for, you know, upcoming musicians. and I hone my craft. You know, I get better at what I do. So that's really it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's I'm a real key point, and I mean, I wrote that down. My pen started to fade a little bit, but I know what it says. So like, how do you get invited back? I think that's a great thing. I think a lot of people arrive, and then I think a lot of people exit stage left pretty quickly, right?
Yep.
But it's just about, to your point, how you cultivate those relationships, right? Is it giving with the expectation of, hey, I helped you, so you have to help me? Or is it giving in the sense of, hey, I know I'm good at what I do. I want to share it with this person. If they got something for me in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, that'll be great.
Right.
But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep feeding them the songs that I'm working on. If they get back to me, cool. If they don't, cool, right? So I think that's really the best approach to have, in general. But to your point, especially that industry, right? I'm sure these people, they get pitched music from every imaginable person. And artists, no offense, I don't think it should offend anyone in the stream. I just looked at the list. A lot of them, they really don't know who they're hitting up before they get there, right? Like, they're just kind of like, oh, this person is an A&R, this person is a that. Let me send them my music, and it's like, you got to make sure that this is the music, like this is your guy, right? Because any A&R can't help you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they're not equipped to do that for you. So I'm glad that you understand kind of like the research that goes into the network, and it can't just be a free for all, send the shit out to everybody. But yeah, I guess last kind of question on the 1500 sound piece. What be personable, and do your research. I think that's key. I mean, be personable is huge. I mean, yeah, a lot of people.
I would add on to that because you preaching, Lauren. But I would even add on to that: be personable and don't take anything personally, because there is going to be a lot of situations where there's either a miscommunication or no communication after something has happened. But you can't burn bridges. You can't just go around burning bridges. Like, you have to just provide what you can. Don't expect anything in return. If you're not willing to do that, just don't provide it. But if you're willing to do that for somebody that you believe in, or whatever the case may be, like, that's when things will come back to you. Because I see a lot of artists that ruin opportunities for themselves because they expect something from another person, and maybe it doesn't happen, or whatever the case may be, and they take it personally. Like, the music industry is weird, bro. Like, that's just we're in an industry that doesn't have really a blueprint. So you can't expect things to always happen your way. So just don't take anything personally.
Yeah, man, that's a great I'm a great tip on that. I mean, we really don't. We like really don't know, right? All of the other shit too, right? I mean, there could be other shit going on there. Oh shit! I guess we got a time limit on this thing. Because I heard about there being time limits, but I felt like if there's something like it was something obnoxious, man. Like, it was like 3 hours or something. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna be here that. All right, dope. Yeah, so it looks like we got a lot of the people that were over on the other side, and another person or two. Yeah, welcome back, Lauren. I appreciate all of the engagement you had on the initial event. Terrestrial, peace,
Well,
man. Welcome.
What's up, bro?
Welcome. Let's see. Hey, I think you're dropping something soon, so let me know. Terrestrial, I think you had told me you're dropping something the 5th or the 6th. So follow up with me, because you're on my radar. I just don't know what I'm looking for. My bad. So yeah,
brother.
last question, I guess, on the Sound Academy.
Hmm.
I guess what's been your favorite? I mean, I'm not sure how you guys phrase them, but like, what's been like your favorite unit or your favorite section that you guys have done so far?
Ah, that's a hard one. Um, you know, so I mean, and it's changed actually. So moving into it, I thought that songwriting would be my most enjoyable course. So they do 6 courses just for you guys. They do 6 courses, 6 months, and it's a very short and quick as hell program. I'm actually kind of sad about it, but that's all right. So they
Yeah.
start off with production. They go into the first half of mixing. Um, they go into songwriting, and then they go into mastering and whatnot. They do artist branding and then like music law of some sort, copyrights and stuff like that. But it's all kind of in order um, as to how you would approach just making music. Because you have to produce, you have to mix those songs down, send them off to the artist. They're gonna hear them create a song with that, or if you're with them, create the song there. You're gonna get it mixed and mastered again. Um, then you're going to get into the rollout, which is branding as well. And then after you have all that done, you're going to figure out like the copyright stuff. So it's intentional, it's on purpose. But as of right now, um, what's already making me, hey, thank you. Uh, what's already making me what I feel like the most money is the mixing class, because I'll be able to go back and I know Pro Tools like the back of my hand now. So I'll be
Mhm.
able to go back and engineer for a few people and just have confidence with that
Yeah.
and just get my bag on that end. And that'll be another avenue for me to kind of just make some money, and be around the music. But just personally, I loved the songwriting class. I love the songwriting class. The people that had come in were super dope. And the things that I learned, yeah, and it wasn't even like I didn't necessarily learn a lot of new things. It really just labeled all of the tools in the box for me, because there are a lot of things that I was already doing innately, but I didn't understand what I was doing or why they even worked. But now, like, the toolbox has labels on them, and I know when to use them and why people use them and whatnot. And what things work more than others. And really, like what Rance says all the time is, understand the rules, learn the rules in order to break them. So like now, I
Yeah.
know why I would do one thing versus the other. So that's cool. That's definitely cool for me. But it hasn't necessarily changed how I approach my songwriting. But well, actually, yes, it has changed the way I approach songwriting for other people. Because when I songwrite for myself, I'm just kind of doing whatever. But I really dived into songwriting for other people more heavily after that course, because now I know how to take their conversations and their feelings and just kind of summarize it and package it in the way that they understand. Because yeah, there's a science. There's science to winning a Grammy. Like, believe it or not.
Mhm.
So we're learning it.
Yeah, because I mean, like I'd imagine like writing for a different person is different than writing for yourself, right? I
Definitely.
mean, yeah, I feel like yeah, to be able to have that skill set, man, like, that's top, point 0.0001 of people who could like effectively write for other artists. And I mean, like I'm just thinking in the context of like rappers, right? I mean, there's really only a handful of rappers who can write for other rappers well. I
Right.
mean, you're talking J, Cube,
And
maybe
whoever
two
else
or
is a
three other
ghostwriter.
people,
Right.
right? So, and I mean, and you listen to it and you're like, oh shit, this does sound just like Dre,
Hmm.
or this does sound just like Yo Yo.
Right.
So, yeah, I think anyone could write for other people, but to make it actually, to a point where it's like, man, I can't tell who like it sounds like the last person wrote it,
Right.
right? Like I think that's an art, man. Like that's yeah, I mean that's a science to it all. So all right, so we're gonna get to near the end of this. But yeah, what other than
Dusty
the
Belt.
Sound Academy, I mean getting the next project situated, like what else creatively like really are you looking forward to doing over the next, let's say 6 to 12 months?
Hmm. I mean, dropping this next little bundle I have is really exciting me, because I have like the next 2 years sketched out in terms of my music. And so I just know, or I'm having a better understanding about where to place my music, and just having the right people hear the music. It's not necessarily about getting hella streams, but I want to be able to situate myself more as a songwriter, and unconventionally, it works when I release more music, because usually what people do is they go to different camps or different sessions and whatnot and write for people, but the most opportunity that I've had for songwriting is just like putting out my shit, and then people are like, oh shit, like I like this,
Mm-hmm.
so let me request something, and so that's dope. And then musically, I'm picking up the keys a lot more than I ever have. Just
For sure.
learning a lot of theory right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, understanding how powerful of a songwriting tool chords and chord progressions are, because I don't necessarily need to write when I write music, like I can write music from scratch now, basically, and create music from scratch. Use just purely like with the keys, and understanding what the hell a C minor 11 is, like that kind of stuff helps out, and for my live performances as well, because now I can communicate with a band more easily. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
changes or structures I want. And so yeah, the keys are really exciting me, actually, because especially as an R&B artist, I want to be able to play my own stuff at some point. I'm still learning and whatnot, but Rants, every single day we see Rants. He is drilling into us. Learn your scales, learn your scales, learn your scales, learn your scales. And he doesn't really teach at the school that often. He comes in and does like he brings the guest speakers, and he does guest stuff himself. And sometimes he's just like around when we're recording downstairs in the training rooms and whatnot. He'll pop in, give us advice, maybe play some stuff for us. But like one thing that he wanted us to learn, aside from the actual main curriculum that he designed, was just learn your scales. As an artist, if you're making music, there's no reason why you shouldn't learn your scales. It just makes everything easy. You need to learn the language in order to, convey it with other people. Like these keys right here that are sitting in front of me that
Mm-hmm.
is the ABCs of music world. So yeah, I'm able to have basically more control, knowing and understanding keys, major scales, minor scales, chords, and whatnot. Language and all that stuff. So happy, very happy about that.
Yeah, man. At first, when you said, like, I was kind of confused there because you said keys,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought you meant like, like, you know,
Yeah,
like
gems.
gems. And
Yeah.
then it kind of sounded like you meant the piano keys, and I'm like, man, I don't know where he's headed, but
Mm-hmm.
he's sharing valuable information either
Right.
way. But
Peace,
yeah,
peace.
man, the technical stuff, I mean, definitely, right? Because I mean, it's like you have to know the foundation. I mean, one to create the music that you want, but then you wanting to write for other artists and work with other artists, you got to be able to break that down to them too,
Exactly.
right? And yeah, I mean, it's it's got to be tough to kind of balance all of that stuff, right? You know what I mean? To know all that technical shit, but it's really like, if you're not going to take the time to learn it, you know, it kind of limits your
And
opportunities,
then
right? And it
you're gonna get
limits
left.
your,
You're gonna get
yeah.
left in the dust if you don't learn it, because there's somebody out there that's working harder than you, learning their shit, and you need to be able to
Mm-hmm.
separate yourself as an artist. So if you're not willing to
Yeah.
do that, if you're not willing to literally just learn more about the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life, the thing that you consider your career, then
Mhm.
I don't see how you expect to float to the top. So I take any and all opportunity to learn more about the language of music, and understanding how to better assert more control over my sonics and whatnot. So these are very exciting times for me, because this is a language that I'm learning to understand, and I'm learning a language that I'm learning to communicate as well. I wrote a song the other day with Chris Pollock. He's amazing, an amazing, really he plays a bunch of instruments, but he's a singer as well. He's in a band. He's at the 1500 with me as well. But we created a song from scratch, and he was playing the keys and whatnot, and it ended up being one of my favorite songs that I've made. But I had never been able to do that before. Usually I just top line everything. Like I'll pick a beat off of YouTube, or, I'll take a beat and just top line it. But just having that control of saying, okay, I don't like the mood here. I want it to be more dissonant, or, I want some major chords in the chorus, and then some minor transitions, and maybe do a 1-3-5, or, 1-4, 6 back to the 1 for the resolution. Like those type of things that people don't think about, because they're not in that world, you know Like
All that
that.
number stuff just went right over my head, man. I'm be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Just
I'm like,
chords.
man, are we in math class right now? I'm like, I could
No,
have one,
bro.
3, and 4, but I don't know about going back to the 6, like you
Yeah.
said.
Well, that would be weird, but so learning resolution and all that type of stuff. So like, it's just
Yeah.
music theory that helps me with the music. So, and you don't have to learn the
Mhm.
language because some people have a really good ear with it, but I just like knowing
Mhm.
the shit because, like I said, I have more control, especially in a live setting. I can talk to my pianist, my guitarist, and doing whatever. And really, because before I was like, oh, I don't like this section, but I couldn't understand why, or I
Mhm.
couldn't understand how to explain what exactly to put in that section. And just having the power to be like, yeah, nah, instead of doing a 3 chord here, maybe we do a 4, a minor 4, and just do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun stuff like that. Fun stuff to me. It's
Now,
boring to
would you?
everybody else, but fun to me.
No, for me, man, it's hella fascinating. And then I want to say, cash, cash flow. He said, yeah, you're speaking his,
Nerd language. Yes,
you,
sir,
you
my
know,
people.
his nerd language. Podcast host, producer, rapper, cash flow. If you guys are in any of those businesses, I just shared a lot of different ones, so I'm sure everyone in this room relates to at least one of the things that he does really well. Go ahead and give him a follow as well. Um, but yeah, man, I don't make music, and I'm definitely not as versed, to the point. But I think just the amount of detail, right, that you're explaining, like I think that's the kind of stuff that separates that separates kind of the people that do it, right, and the people that get to set the bars, right, or get to lead the new waves, or get to take the wave this way and that way, and then
Right.
back to where they want to, right? So yeah, man. So while I cannot appreciate the technical things because I don't know, I appreciate the willingness to jump in and know what's gonna make you, you know, make you. I don't want to say valuable, but you know what I mean?
That's it.
Like,
That's it.
like something that will give you the longest shelf life so that you're not making music for the next 3 years and then you got to stop, right? This is something that can give you infinite value and you can drop whenever you want, not whenever your talent
Right.
runs out. So I think that's dope, man. Would you say that you were this interested in the theory side um, before the the Sound Academy?
Not at all whatsoever. I
Okay.
was I was one of those artists where I waited for inspiration, and I feel like that's a lot of people's standard. Where I'm not inspired to write a song, so I don't write a song. But just taking control of that, I can create the inspiration because inspiration comes from a multitude of different places. There's always something to be inspired by if you listen to music because there's millions of songs out right now, and it just kind of gave me that autonomy and control to create inspiration whenever. So and like it's amazing how deep of a rabbit hole music theory can go. Like you will study your whole life and still not be on the other side of it. Like even people like Jacob Collier don't know everything about music theory. But the more you learn about it and the more you start labeling your tools and understanding, what things do what, the less limited you are, I feel like, in terms of like, oh, let me just wait for a cool beat, or I need to wait on my producer to cook something new up, or let me go search for it. You could just create it. You can create it at your home in your house with a set of keys or a guitar or whatever the case may be, any instrument of your choice. Yeah, and really like create from like the depths of your soul. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, man, I like that point. I wrote it down. Like, you have to label your tools and you got to know what everything does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you know what you got, you know what you can make,
Exactly.
right? Like, imagine you're trying to cook dinner and you're like, oh, I don't even know what I got,
Right. Right.
And you open up your cabinet and you got, a can of peaches and mustard. You can't make nothing. You know what I mean? But,
That's a crazy meal.
or I mean, maybe you can.
Yeah,
Look, man,
I
I
don't
ain't
know.
one to judge. Yeah, I mean,
I
if
don't
your
know.
pellets, you know what I mean? If your pellet likes it, don't mind me. But yeah, man, I like that, man, because when you know what you're capable of, you're able to do what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think That's a good way. I wrote that down for me. Ryan, I'm not sure if you're still here on the call, but I'm gonna keep that quote top of mind for us. So label your tools. Ryan, we'll circle back on that, man. And Drew, if you're still here, I'll circle back on that too. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna go through this last rapid, rapid round of questions, and then of course, if the folks here want to add anything, ask any questions or anything, go ahead and throw those in as we're doing the rapid round.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so we're gonna do kind of a mix of like this or that, and then the short response.
Okay.
What is your dream venue to perform in?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, right now it's Madison Square Garden, but I feel like that can change. I feel like that can change very quickly. So I'm gonna just say Madison Square Garden for now.
Okay,
Dillo! My bad.
very good, man. Oh, shit, I didn't even see him pop up here. Yeah, man. Peace, man. Hey, everyone go stream Armani's new shit. My sword. Fuck, I'm blank. My sword is the shepherd.
Booyah.
I got it mixed up because it sounds just like something else.
Yeah.
The Lord is my shepherd, but yeah, the sword is my shepherd. What is a instrument that you would like to learn?
I mean, the keys are literally sitting in front of me, but I'm gonna say the keys more in depth. You know, that's what I'll say for now.
Mhm.
Eventually, for show the guitar as well, but those two I gotta go ham. You know, so
Mhm. Dope. All right. And it could just be because I'm hella hungry. Tacos or burritos?
ooh, wow, bro, that's a crazy question. That's an absolutely crazy question. Oh man, okay, so I've had life altering tacos. I haven't had a life altering burrito. I've had one life altering burrito, but I've had many a life altering taco. So I'm gonna say tacos. I mean,
Okay.
but like this, I like burritos more. Like if I were to choose, just at a whim, like I would choose a burrito because you could just stuff whatever in a burrito. But like, yeah. Oh, Lauren, yes. Okay, look, Lauren, I will be releasing Gray Matter eventually, but not right now. So maybe I don't know. We'll see. Probably next year, honestly. Yeah. I just got other shit that I'm, working on. But I have not. That's one of my favorite songs right now in the vault for sure. And yeah. Anyway,
Right. Let's see. All right. The next one. Um, and interpret this how you may. Um, where was the first venue that you performed?
it was a stage on Mac and Center. I'm from South Sacramento. On Mac and Center, they have the Sacramento Kings, like one of the courts over there, and they
Okay.
literally just did like a pop up, a summer pop up or
Mhm.
whatnot. I think I still have a video of it too. But yeah, they just put up a little stage up there, and that was like, yeah, that was the first technical venue. The second venue, which is more of an actual venue, it was called the Colony. Um,
Oh yeah.
uh, it was next to or near the Colonial Theater. But like just
Mm-hmm.
a little, like a tiny venue called the Colony. That's where I had my first my first solo set. I fucked up so
Hmm.
bad. I forgot like half of my lyrics. Like there was like four people in the crowd. My mom and my grandma were two of them. I fumbled, but like, hey, it built me to who I am today. So
That's right,
we
man.
we don't we
You
don't
know what I
you
mean?
can't skip the hard work. You don't
Yeah,
start off a superstar. So yep.
exactly, man. Lots of people have those first performances, man, but you just kept going at it,
Hmm.
It's not about that first performance, it's about how many you get after that. How much you learn from that first, if it's good or bad, just learning
Hmm.
from it.
Hmm.
Um, Coffee or tea?
Tea for sure. I don't drink coffee. I'm one of them ADD people, so coffee like doesn't do shit to me.
Hmm.
But I love tea. I drink tea
Wait,
before
coffee
every
doesn't do anything
performance.
for you?
Doesn't do nothing for me. It's crazy. I just smacked a Red Bull like yesterday. I was stupid tired. Didn't do nothing to me. Like caffeine just don't do it for me. Taurine, all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
not a coffee person. A tea though.
Yeah, man.
That's
Coffee
heaven.
don't. Yeah, man. coffee don't do nothing for me either, man. I'm like, I could probably drink coffee right now after this stream and still be able to go to sleep at 11:30. Like I
Exactly. Like
just
this is no point. I get jittery.
black
That's it.
coffee though. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't add all that other stuff. I just drink
Right.
black black coffee, man. What is a hidden talent that you have?
What? See, for a long time it was the music because I didn't tell nobody. Man, hidden talent. It's crazy because I don't do shit else but make music nowadays. I can cook a mean banana pancake breakfast, and I'm nice as fuck. Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, I'll say
Okay.
those two things.
Dope.
So
Super.
if you want to put money on it, I'll put money. I've never lost. Well, no, I lost one round of money. Shout out to Jorban. He got me. He got me for like $20. But I ain't, I was at Sac State, little tournament, third place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I make money on this shit on Super Smash Brothers, video game.
Wait, so
Yeah.
you won a tournament at a school you didn't go to? How's that work, man?
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just
bro,
messing
my
with
homie was there.
you. I'm just messing
Yeah, yeah. My homie was there. He was like, bro, join in. So we joined in. He smacked me because he's nicer than me, but yeah.
with you. Um, banana pancakes.
They're
I don't
crazy.
know if I've ever had one of those, man. I'll be
Yo,
honest, I don't.
I'm telling you, they're crazy. They're ridiculous. I do this.
Okay.
Hidden
I
talent.
believe you.
Hidden
Look,
talent.
man, I'm like ice cold on the Foreman grill, man. So,
That's crazy. I'm just saying, don't knock it till you try it.
the air
I
fryer,
have raving
man.
reviews. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This is my actual hidden talent. Is I bake. That's my hidden talent. Yeah. I like baking. You know,
You like what?
baking. Like
Oh, like you
cupcake,
said,
cheesecake,
bacon. I'm
cake.
like, that's not a talent. I'm
Nah,
like bacon isn't.
I eat the
I'm
most
like, that's not
bacon.
a talent.
Nah, yeah,
I'm like,
that's it.
if you source it, I mean, I guess that's a talent, but not. But all right, okay. And then here's the last this or that, and this really is a make or break. And I know you're gonna be conflicted. Miguel or Lucky Day?
Lucky day. That's not
Who do
a
you like?
confliction. That's not a confliction for me. I'm sorry, bro.
Ryan,
Look.
Ryan, write that down, man. Ryan, write that down. We got to
Look.
make sure we bring this up in
Music,
our next performance review. No.
music is subjective and relationship based. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Miguel is a crazy artist, a legendary artist. I'll say more legendary than Lucky Day. I'll give him that, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Lucky Day personally is one of my favorite R&B artists of all time, right? And so I model a lot of my sound after Lucky Day. And I mean, people say it all the time, like, "Oh, you sound like Lucky, yada yada." But that's just me, I love Lucky stuff, and not only do I love Lucky, but I love his producer because D-Mile is my favorite producer in the world, hands down. So everything that D-Mile's ever produced, like all of Joyce Rice's stuff, Lucky stuff, 24 Karat Magic, Bruno Mars, like he goes stupid. So usually,
Okay.
like he
He's got a
he does it
catalog,
for
man.
me. Yeah. So
He got a catalog.
it's the coupled the D-Mile production plus like Lucky Day, like it don't ever miss for me. Like I know all of his discography, so that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so because you mentioned it, I'm curious now. Who are your, let's say, 3 to 5 favorite R&B artists? And it could be your favorite, or it could be the ones that you think like influence you the most. I'll let you call it, man.
I literally actively search for inspiration in the R&B realm and in the hip hop field from a myriad of artists. Like I try not to stick to one person, but I find myself for sure gravitating the most to Lucky Day sound. I love Erykah Badu's shit. Man, another R&B artist. I get a lot of what's it called? Comparisons to Mario. I haven't necessarily studied Mario, but when I was growing up, I studied the hell out of Chris Brown. Because I literally wanted to be Chris. When Yo came out, yeah, excuse me, man, I was trying to get the dance moves, all type of stuff. But I would say Chris back in the day, old Chris, Lucky now. And you know what? In terms of R&B, I don't study sounds actually. I study writers more often than I study sounds.
Mm.
Because I love Stevie's writing. Stevie writing is amazing. One of the best writers of all time for sure. I love James Fauntleroy's writing. I study his writing. Um, Man, and there's just various songwriters that I just kind of go to study
Mm.
R&B. So like it's whoever that
Mm.
is in their catalog for the most part. But like, because just for me, lyricism is way more important um, than vocal tonality. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, I lean towards the R&B songwriter more than anything versus the R&B superstar.
Yeah. Have you heard of yeah, dude, actually Mario's a good shout because I think he's better than I think a lot of people realize.
Definitely.
I think
Mario
he's
has
more
been had class. He's been had hits
yeah,
since he came out.
yeah.
He's had
Yeah,
hits.
and I mean like I don't even mean from like a hit or like I just mean just his voice is probably one of the better that's come out over the last 20 years, but it kind of gets yeah, it it's not fully appreciated in
Definitely,
my
I'll say
opinion.
that.
But yeah, someone I don't know if you've heard of Ro James, but Ro James is pretty dope
James is
too.
amazing.
He's a
Yeah, Ro
really
James,
good
he's
writer.
a really good
Yeah, he's
writer and
good.
an amazing, unique voice. Like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it might be kind of whatever, generic or cliche, but I think Mariah Carey, she's probably one of the best
Best voice of all time.
writers.
I'll give her that.
I mean, of the last, however long she's been active,
Mhm.
she's been the best writer, right?
Right.
So the last 30 years, whatever, man, her pen is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the voice is dope, but man, just the way she puts it to, I don't know
I'm
how
not,
she
and
does
I
it,
haven't dived
man.
into her like her lyricism in terms of her catalog in that end. Because
She's brilliant,
she
man.
writes all her own music.
She writes a lot of her own music,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't
So,
know that.
yeah, and then what's her name? From Floetry. She's with Dre now. Marsha Ambrosius.
Oh, Marshall
She's
Ambrosius,
a
crazy.
really talented writer.
Yeah, that's
She
awesome.
wrote what's that?
Hmm.
Butterflies for Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. Yep.
Yeah, so she's been doing this shit for a while,
Hmm.
man. But yeah, yeah, I say those are some of my favorite. More. It's crazy because like they're popular, but I mean Mariah, I think she's more appreciated as a vocalist, but I don't think people realize she's writing 95% of the shit she's
I
singing.
didn't. Yeah, I had no
That's
clue. So
and that's what's crazy. And then yeah, like Marsha's just dope. She was just born 10 years too late. I mean,
right. Hmm.
if she came out in 89, not 99, she'd have been. Look, I don't know if she would have been
Right.
Mariah
Hmm.
big, but you know what I mean. She'd have
Right.
been.
Should have got her flowers for sure.
Yeah, she would have definitely gotten a lot more credit than she gets. I mean. It's too bad, man. She's basically a backup singer in this era, which
Right.
is too bad because she could sing, man.
Hmm.
She could
Hmm.
sing. Um, but all right, so we're gonna get going now. But yeah, thank you everyone that stuck around, who popped in here for a few minutes,
Hmm.
or who stayed the whole time. Definitely appreciate you all. I'll be back next week. I'll be announcing that guest sometime this week. But yeah, if you don't already follow Breyan, go ahead and follow him to stay posted on all the shit he's doing. The 1500 Sound Academy and all the music he'll be dropping here soon. But yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna give him a follow for all of that. And then yeah, the series will uh, be every week. The first few will be Fridays around the same time. So if you want to stay tapped in with that, go ahead and give me a follow. I'll probably be posting those like Monday or Tuesday of every week. It'll be hip hop and R&B artists.
Right.
Um, so yeah, thanks again, everyone. I gotta go watch this Lakers
Yeah.
game because we gotta
Yeah, this
end
Kings
it.
game. I don't know. I gotta get to it. Much love to you guys. Shout out to you, Lauren. You've been here for the most part, almost the whole
Yeah,
time.
for
Hi,
real.
Jessica. Yeah. So, like I said, if you guys don't follow me, please tap in. I promise it'll be worth it. Ruben, let me know who's the guest next week because I will be in your comment section blowing you up.
Oh shit. I think the Kings won. I think that's what I'm seeing. My
No
uncle
way.
just
The
texted me.
game's over. Yeah,
I think so.
you gonna have to let me get out of here, man. I'm not the
Oh shit, dude, that's crazy because I got tickets to Game 7, so I'm definitely gonna be there.
Oh, let's
Or I
go.
got a ticket. I say tickets like I'm
A
fucking
ticket.
somebody.
That's enough.
I got a
That's enough.
single.
I'm
I got
jealous.
one
I'm
seat.
jealous.
But
Bad brother.
all right, peace everyone. All right, see you guys next week.
Catch you guys.